Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US. And I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. It's Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time on April 9th, 2023. I am going to admit from the start that this is the least prepared I have been for a live in a long time. I don't have like a little script thing in front of me like I normally have to guide me to make sure that I'm telling you everything that I need to tell you. I haven't finished my blog post yet. This has been kind of a crazy busy past few weeks for me. There's this transition happening from paperpumpkin.com to stampinup.com, and some people are confused. So I want to tell you, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you want to claim your subscription. You don't have to claim it right away, but claim it instead of starting a new one. There's a lot of confusion going on, and there are some, even of my own personal subscribers, they find the subscription area, so they log into stampinup.com, they click on their name, the drop-down menu under their name, there's the word subscriptions. When you click on subscriptions, the first thing that you actually see is add a subscription or something like that, right? So you think that's how you're going to bring your paperpumpkin.com one over. No, don't do that. So it's mixed, it's kind of getting confusing for people, and so they're making duplicate accounts. Instead, find the button that says claim from paperpumpkin.com. So you want to claim your account. You don't want to add a new one. So I've just been busy. I have a lot of subscribers, and I thank you all for subscribing if you're one of them. But it's just been interesting trying to manage the switchover because it's not just my subscribers. It's a whole bunch of people. It's my demonstrators and my team. It's lots of people that are getting confused by some of the processes. So when you are getting emails, check those emails because they have really great information in them, and there's a document and a video. If you don't have that information, reach out to me at, well, I have a new email address. I have both email addresses, but I'm going to share this one with you. Where did it go? Here it is. Oops, and then I disappeared again. I've done that recently. Here we go. So feel free to reach out to me, and I can send you a link to that PDF and that video if you're missing it. I don't want anyone to miss it. It's great information. Okay, let's go back to, there we go. Okay, so on that note, just been busy, and so I'm not as prepared. I'm going to work on the blog post and take photos of the projects today, but I literally went up to last night still creating. So I hope you're okay with that. I don't have a link to the blog post. Trisha, bear with me. I believe I have all the supplies listed in the description of the video as of like 10 minutes ago. I added them. So if I'm missing something, let me know. Let's go down to the desktop so you can take a peek. Oh, that's why. I have like my buttons aren't working right now. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this is the box. This is the beautiful Daydream March 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit that got released a few weeks back. And it has some really gorgeous elements to it. There's 2 stamp sets within. If you missed out, start your subscription and don't miss out in the future. But there is a way to get a refill kit. The refill kit does not include the stamps and the ink, but you can always buy an extra ink pad. Which one is it? Lost Lagoon came in this kit. And then you can just make do with stamps that you have in your collection to make some projects that are similar. So we're going to dive in. When you open up your kit, you're going to have a lot more supplies than what I have. But let me show you. This is the flyer that comes in there that has the visual directions for making the 3 different cards, 1, 2, 3. These are the supplies to collect for each card, and on the front you have the finished images stacked up together. So we're making 3 of 3 different kinds of cards if you want to follow the directions as is. All the kits have a choreographed, dictated type of step-by-step process for making the projects within. You just need your paper snips or your scissors. And if you want to, you can bring in like extra adhesives and multiple blocks and that sort of thing. But I love to make alternates. I have been making alternates since day one, since the first kit released back in March of 2013. And so I'm going to do that for you today. This is my second set of alternates. I will try to link, that's what I need to do. I need to link back to my other video so that you can see the first set of projects if you haven't checked those out yet. So thanks, Diane. So good to see all of you. And I love that my YouTube members, my supporters and my fan members are using their emojis. It's so fun to see those come through. So, and thank you, Bonnie, for the reminder, for the thumbs up. I forget to promote my channel. If you're watching for the first time, I hope that you tune in and stay tuned in and possibly even subscribe to my channel. Again, just keep in mind, this is the least prepared I've ever been, or at least for a while. These are the supplies that you would need minus the envelopes for each card. So I sort of stack them on top of each other. So we have the card base, we have card elements. I don't have the stamps, but I have like the labels and the little doodads and all of that extra stuff, right? So when I take and I multiply the cards in the kit, because people have been asking me this for months, what is your process? So I take and visualize. I don't cut things up right away, but I visualize. And I say to myself, well, what if I took and I split these into 2 different layers? And I typically do that with the card bases. I don't use a full card base as is, like this, because you're missing out on some beautiful printed cardstock. Sometimes it's not just a color, but there's like designs on it, right? So I will typically cut this down and then mount it onto a sheet of cardstock. So let me bring in some extra pieces that I usually have on hand. It's either black or white, I should say, black and white cardstock. Those are my favorite go-tos because they really make color pop. So I will typically bring in base cardstock and extra envelopes because the envelopes are pretty too, and you want to cut them up as well because they're like designer paper. Now for this brief explanation, I'm not going to be going through the whole process of multiplying the cards in the kit to make double, triple, quadruple like I have in the past. But I'm just going to show you a simple process, and we're going to just take and kind of double the cards without using the envelopes, okay? So you don't necessarily have, well, you would, because you're going to have extra cards. So you would need a few extra envelopes. And then for the cards, I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I'm going to score first so that I can get 2 cards done in 2 swipes, okay? A score line all the way through and then a cut through the middle. So we're going to score at 4¼ inches, and then we're going to rotate and we're going to cut. By the way, I did mention Trisha, but I forgot to tell you who she is. So if you are new to my channel, Trisha Josephs is my moderator. She has a little wrench symbol next to her name, and she's here to answer questions. So if you are watching and Rachel just keeps on blabbing and blabbing and blabbing, she doesn't see your question, hopefully Trisha will catch it, or some other viewer. You guys are so good to help each other out, because if I pay attention to all the comments the whole entire time, I get distracted. So oh, thank you, Nancy. She goes, don't feel guilty for not being organized. It's free video inspiration. Yes, that's true. I haven't charged anybody for watching this, have I? You're so funny and so sweet. So I have my 2 card bases, right? And then what you want to do is you want to take and we're going to work on this other set instead. So I've separated some pieces out already. I've divvied out what I want to do on each page. So again, I've just taken the pieces that are in the 3 sets of cards, and I've shared them in different ways. So for example, let's just lay them out here before we start playing around. So you see all these extra flowers over here? Those are flowers that were from this card base. They were layered on top of these 6 flowers. There's 6 flowers to boost up these to make them look more 3D. But I took them over and I brought them to this card base, okay? Because I felt like this one needed just a little bit more. I took this one and I put it somewhere else. I'll show you in a minute. I left these here. I flipped this piece that you discard over, stuck it here, okay? So I just kind of moved things around before I cut. I thought that flower looked really pretty in there, and then I wanted to keep a bee and a sentiment strip, but these sentiment strips look better with, I think, this page. So then I took and went to this page, and I was like, that's a nice thick sentiment strip. We're going to keep that there with the little vellum behind it. And I'm going to move this sentiment strip over to here. Okay? So this one pretty much was the way I wanted it afterwards, right? So that's what I got here. We're going to scoot that out of the way. And what I have left here is, well, we're going to keep that as is. We're not going to put the extra flowers on it because it's gorgeous as is and we don't necessarily need to 3D it. Over on this side though, wouldn't it be fun to put this little beehive over more miniature beehives, pop them up with dimensionals so it looks like the bigger little honeycombs are coming towards you, right? And then these are more in the background. So we obviously need a bee. We need maybe even a couple bees. So I'm going to steal a bee from this set of card pieces and put that over there. Ooh, let's do something different. Let's flip it around and go the other direction because everybody's using it upright. Let's bring that circle down. And when I say everybody, you want to be on the Paper Pumpkin fan club on Facebook. You want to look on Pinterest. You want to do Google searches. If you want to do alternates with these kits, put the kit name into search areas. Join the Paper Pumpkin fan club on Facebook. There's lots of ideas. And oh my gosh, it's just crazy the amount of ideas for this kit. People are in love with it. Okay, so we have those pieces as is, but I think another thing that I wanted to do there, nope, that was, oh, I needed a sentiment strip. So then I stole this one over here and put it over there. Okay, so this one was pretty much set the way I wanted it. And then for these, I thought, oh, let's just put some honeycombs in there, these little delicate honey, these golden little things, and we'll do 2 per. And then I needed a sentiment strip. So I'll show you what I did with that. Let's bring these in. Let's trim them up. And let's put together a couple cards quickly. So I just cut it down the middle at 4 1/4 inches. There's a score line there already in the card base. You could take and trim them. So if you wanted to, you could trim a little edge off of the long and the short side so that you have a slight white border underneath. Now here's the reason why I didn't do that for these is because we see a lot of white. A lot of white is showing with this card. And if you'll notice, this is kit white, this is basic white. There's a difference. And this is more on the cooler, like a true tone type of white. This is more brighter, a little warmer. And so you could instead use white willow cardstock. Let me show that to you really quick. The only problem with white willow cardstock is that it comes only in 12 by 12. But you do have a closer looking white for your kit. Does that make sense? So you have a choice between the whites now, which is really great. I decided to stick with basic white because I know a lot of us have basic white. White willow is fairly new. So we've got that going. And if I left a border there, we would definitely see a brightness along the edges that might make this look duller. So I decided not to do that. We're going to grab our bone folder tool and put a crease in here. Well, the crease is there, but we're just going to make it a little stronger. Okay. And I would then take and put this directly onto my card base. I'm using seal adhesive, but again, I told you that adhesive does come in these kits. So you can take and use the glue dots that come in the kit if you don't have any extra adhesive. That would be the one thing you wouldn't have to invest in right away. So we've got that going. When we open it up, we don't notice the difference between the whites because they're separated from each other. So on this step here, I would probably put these 2 flat. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this really pretty green layer, which I wish they would have done like a whole card base of. This is just so stunning. I love it. And then we'll put this on flat. Remember, this was the discarded piece from one of the items in the kit. Oh, and we want to kind of lay this over it so we know how far up and down to go. So we'll add that there. And then for fun, let's use the adhesive that comes in the kit. This is what you get when you get this kit, is you get some puffy kind of adhesive. These are little mini dimensionals, and these are strip dimensionals. And then you also get, like I said, these are glue dots. So you peel them off, stick them on, and then you peel off the backing, okay? I've already got some ready to go, so I'll pull those in and just use them up. So we're going to put dimensionals on the back side. If you want to, you can bring in extra dimensionals. So we have like this bigger size that you can get if you don't already have a collection of them from your past paper pumpkin kits. So I've got that on there, and then we're going to put one more here, and maybe we're going to trim our edge up. So I oftentimes will use the edges of my dimensionals. I'm sure a lot of you do too. Don't throw them away. I remember when I used to teach classes in my home, and I would go through the garbages because people would literally trash edges of dimensionals. I was so sad. I was like, no, 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 that's good stuff. And I would grab it back. Okay, we've got the backings off of those. And we're just going to add this here. Now, this is a card where I don't have a sentiment on the front. You could put a sentiment on the front if you wanted to. You could put it under, it's got hair in my mouth. You could put it underneath. You could put it maybe if there's a curved dimensional you like, kind of curving along here, or you could put a little strip across the top. But sometimes you can make a card just be a note card, right? It doesn't have to have anything for words at all. This next one, obviously, I would build up the same way. I would stack these flowers kind of overlapping each other. There are 6 of them, so many different fun sizes. And I would put the bee on top. Not all of the flowers would I put on dimensionals. I'd probably put 3 of them flat and 3 of them popped up. Oh, show the stamp set again. I haven't shared it yet, have I? So yeah, let's go ahead and stamp this sentiment here. So I would do 3 down, 3 up. Thanks, Debbie, for that thought. So now let's bring in the stamps that come with the kit. So this is the imagery. Again, you get 2 stamp sets in this kit if you got the kit through the subscription. And there's lots of words to choose from. I think what we'll do is we'll choose Enjoy Your Special Day. Now, because we have a long, narrow stamp, I'm going to let it relax onto my desktop first. Hang on for a while here, just to kind of relax it so it doesn't go onto my block curved. You get a free block with your first paper pumpkin kit, but then in the future you want to invest in other blocks if you want to have multiple blocks. Or you can just use that same one over and over again. You pick up your stamp like that, then you take your little mini spot, trim, open it up, and use the ink. I'm going to go ahead and use my larger pad because I already have that ready. Ink it up by pouncing on top. And let's grab the Stampin' Pierce mat, just because that way we can see the edges if we have a dark surface underneath, and it's easier to stamp. So now we can line it up. Okay, so once that's stamped, we can add that to the front of the card. And it depends. I mean, if I have a really close flower that's up on dimensionals here, I might put this flat to the card. But I'm seeing this one more on dimensionals. I think dimensionals give so much depth and life to art project type cards, right? So that's how I would do that card. The next one, and again, I'm not going to be putting together all of these cards, but I just want you to see the ideas, and then after the video, I'll put them together completely, and I will photograph them and add them to my blog post. And the link will come soon, I promise. I will get this done today. All right. And don't feel guilty if you're one of my subscribers and you made a duplicate account. All of a sudden I realized that don't feel bad at all. This is just, it's something that a lot of people are doing incorrectly. So I just hang in there. Reach out to me though if you have questions about that, because I can send you a link to the PDF for claiming your account and the video for managing your account. So this one I cut in half. Obviously that other beehive section was on the other side. I would add this to the front of the card like that, and it's done. Honestly, just put a sentiment, like stamp some words on here, back the vellum onto it, pop it up on dimensionals onto the front of your card, and you have a beautiful card as is. You don't need to do much to that one. Let's go to the next one as I find a pile for all of these. At the end of this video, you're not going to see all the finished projects brought before you because I don't have finished ones yet. Sigh. Okay, for this one, remember we brought this piece over, and that was the section that we used on that last card, right? Underneath our green circle. We had flipped it over, so we had the white side of it. So for this card, I will take and add my honeycomb layer, and I think I would add it like this because there's more honeycomb down here, and I wanted my circle at the bottom. I would put this on flat with the seal type of tape, or you could even use multi-purpose liquid glue. Let me demonstrate that for you. For those of you that are beginning crafters, when you fold your cardstock, sometimes you see both layers on one side on the edge, but you don't see it on the other side. Where you don't see it on the other side, this would be then the front, okay, because it looks cleaner. So now let's go ahead and add this. And you just take, if you're using glue, you just take and do a thin line around the edges. And then you can do a little bit through the middle to just keep it reinforced and help it to sit down. The advantage to seal adhesive is you can shimmy it before it dries. You can kind of maneuver it. But the disadvantage is you can't peel it back up without tearing apart your card. So with this kind of adhesive, if you're really careful, you can probably peel it back up after it's been sitting a while. At least I've been able to. But with Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, it's a tearing process. So that's how you could put on that layer. This here would go on with dimensionals. I would probably use the bigger ones because it just takes less time to add that. One in each corner for lift. And then I would say to myself, well, where am I going to put all my other stuff? This I'm going to stick down flat, so it's okay. It doesn't matter if I put a dimensional under there. This little bee, I probably want to have flying in the air, and this one I want to have flying. Well, maybe he can just stick there, but this one I definitely want to have up in the air. So I don't want to have another dimensional right behind where he's going to sit or she's going to sit, but I could put a supporting dimensional here and here. Okay, so I kind of look ahead. Where am I going to add my pieces that are going to go on top? Okay, so we have all that, and then this would go on like this. And if this extra edging, do you see all that stuff around the edges? If that bugs you, because it does give, you know, a little bit of a decorative edge, but maybe it's too busy for your eyes, you can trim that layer down so that all you see is this little focus here underneath. Okay, now we can add this one, this busy bee, because they're at the honeycomb now. I mean, they're busy, they're working. So we can add that busy bee to this spot here, and we'll have it flying kind of downward. And then we'll add this one just with a little touch of glue on its abdomen, because that's where we're going to attach it. And we'll stick that one here. And I'll get this dimensional off my finger. And then you would stamp this and just add that there. And I would put a dimensional underneath here too. You could totally turn this into a shaker. I think my first set of projects I did that with this window piece is I put clear window sheet behind it and then added dimensionals all the way around, added some little sequins in there, and it became a little shaker with drips of honey in it. So, because we used this yellowish colored embellishment, it was so pretty. So you'll want to check that out. I will get the link in the video soon. Anyways, there is the finished idea for that one with the sentiment. On this note, you don't see any Lost Lagoon bluish coloring there. You could bring in Tuxedo Black Memento ink, okay? In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do for my finished card for this one, is use black ink on it, because it will then accentuate the black on the bees' bodies, okay? Oh, good. I'm glad that you're enjoying the suggestions and the ideas, even if I don't have finished cards. You guys are so sweet to me. Okay, then we had, so we did 4 cards, right? Then we had that blue one. We're going to go back to this blue one. Remember this one. And I'm going to show you how I changed that one up. I did a lot differently than I thought I was going to. I didn't cut the card base in half. Instead, I cut the card base, well, I did cut it in half, but then I cut off 7/8 of an inch from one side. So almost an inch off of this side. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Pierce mat, just so I have a dark surface and a firm surface underneath. And I'm going to grab some words. We'll use the Lost Lagoon ink again. We'll let our stamp relax a bit. We'll pick it up with another clear block. I don't have another D with me, so we're gonna clean this off. Got my cleanup pad here. I like to use the Stampin' Pierce mat and mist, but some of you like to use the chamois. That's totally fine. Whatever works for you for cleaning. So I scrub and then I dry, wash and dry. Okay, I guess I only have one D block over here. I have to go get more. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so we're gonna pick it up, we're gonna ink it up, and we're gonna stamp in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna eyeball it. And I love to mount my stamps so that the edges are not lining up with the design of the stamp, because I don't want to rely on the edges of the block for centering. I want to look directly at my sentiment. So I've centered it the best I can. I'm going to press it firm. I've got my stamp on there. Next, I'm going to take and weave my flowers in. And what do I mean by that? Well, you could have these little guys go over the top like that, but then you have words getting covered up. So we're going to weave. There we go. So now the flowers on the edges are kind of like framing the words. So I've just tucked a few little pieces behind and the other one's on top. I'm going to take this whole piece all together and I'm going to put it up on dimensionals. Here they are. So I'm just going to hang on to those ends like that. Put a couple more on the very ends. And then we want to have some behind the flowers too to support them. So we'll just go like this. There we go. We have lots of adhesive back there. For this piece, we're going to add it like that, and then we're going to add it to the front of the card. Now before we add it to the front of the card, notice this is the one that has the dimensionals on the back. This is the one that's going to lie flat. So I'm going to add this, but before I stick it all the way down, I'm putting adhesive right up to the longest edges with my seal. Before I stick it all the way down, I am going to lay my hexagons where I want them to go. And I think I'm going to go like this for this one. Okay, so I have it almost to the top edge of my card. I'm going to center this so I have, remember we took a 7/8 of an inch off of the edge of this, so it's almost an inch. So you're going to have about a 1/2 of an inch from the top, a 1/2 an inch from the bottom. It doesn't matter if it's exact or not, but you just want to pick up your hexagons. And then we can do a different kind of adding here at the bottom. Maybe we'll do it like, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it like this. I like that better. I'm going to peel this off. There. Oh, I really made them different though. That's okay. Who cares? Who cares, Rachel? Who cares? It's totally fine. Okay, as long as they stay within the perimeter or the edges of your card, right? Because you need to fold it and this has to stay in there. If you want to, you can dab a little bit of adhesive back there before we press it all the way down. And for doing that, my favorite way is, again, because we didn't die cut this with sticky sheets on the back side, adhesive sheets. So my favorite way would be to take a silicone mat, put a little glue on there, grab a sponge. We don't sell these anymore in the Stampin' Up store, but you can get them on Amazon. I have a link in my favorite extras. So you could take and add a little bit of adhesive back there, lay this onto your silicone mat corner, pop it on the back side, and then when you press this all the way down, those will stay in place back there, okay? They won't come up. We'll do the same thing over here before we press it all the way down. Don't put it in the same spot. Shift it because you're going to have glue right there. Add your adhesive back there and stick it down. We're going to scoot that out of the way because we're going to come back to that. So this would be your design, and it's pretty easy, pretty fun. I didn't add any extra embellishments. Sometimes I add extra embellishments like, you know, rhinestones or something like that to my alternate cards. But for this one, I did not, because I felt like we had enough going on with the beautiful daisies and these foil, they're shimmery little hexagon pieces. FYI, did you know that these little hexagon pieces, and I'll show you with a full sheet. Okay, see this? They are like the exact same size. If you lay these on here, they're literally the exact same size. as the dimensionals themselves. So just saying, pretty cool. If you wanted to, you could take and peel off, you know, your dimensionals, add some, I don't know, like glitter, if you have glitter, like yellow glitter or something to them. So you could take and peel off all the backings, stick these on, and then fill in the sticky areas with like yellow glitter so that your hexagons are honey filled, right? We don't have any yellow glitter right now in the online store, but I'm just saying, I love that idea. You could even fit these, because all our mini dimensionals are hexagon shaped. You could put those in the middle if you wanted to do something funky and fun with a design. But that's how I would do the last two cards. So you could turn 3 into 6 by just taking and cutting up your card bases, moving things around. I hope you enjoyed how I walked you through my thought process for that, because a lot of you asked me, what do you do? Well, I don't cut right away. I think, I draw, I lay the pieces out. I definitely have to visualize it before I start cutting into stuff. And sometimes I cut too early and then I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. And then I have to work with it. But anyways, I hope that helped. Okay, next, we're going to do a really cute project. I'm going to use the card base that has the daisies on it. And we're going to include some of the daisies. We are coming up on a holiday right now, Easter, that daisies just work great for it. I want to tell you that if you're in the Paper Pumpkin fan club or you've done Google searches, there are a lot of beautiful cross type cards that are out there. I was going to make one and I thought I can just let people know that they're out there. Search for Daisy Daydream Paper Pumpkin March 2025 cross card and you will see tons of cards pop up. But again, go in the Paper Pumpkin fan club. We're going to do something a little different then, because everyone else has got the cross cards out there. So take a peek at them. We're going to take and fold this so that we can read this measurement here. Okay, we're going to need that crease anyways. We want this measurement to go to the 1 3/4 inch mark. So we'll leave it there. We'll flatten everything down. This should bring you to the 6 inch mark on this side. Just saying. Okay, but if you're worried about it, just know that it's 1 3/4 because we want to know that measurement anyways. Oh, Joella, you are going to love the video then, because that's the last project I'm going to do. Take a peek at Joella's comments if you're a scrapbooker. Yay. Okay, we're going to cut right through the flowers. Ouch! But look at, you have this beautiful piece that you can use on another card or project. I'm going to set that over here. 1 3/4 inches. Okay, now we want to do 1 3/4 inches scored right here. Actually, let's do this. The whole square, we're going to turn this into a square, is going to be 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and trim off. We'll trim off from this edge. 5 1/4. Did I do that on my other one? All of a sudden I just realized I might not have cut it down to a square. And it still worked. Huh. Hang on, where's my finished one? I didn't. It's a rectangle. Okay, well then there you go. We know it will work with a rectangle. So let's leave this 5 1/2 inches, but let's cut this side to 5 1/4. Okay, we're going to trim off 3/4 of an inch on this side, and we'll use that piece. And then we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so either way, had you done this and done your score line first, it's still going to end up there because this measures 5 1/4 inches. And if you divide that into 3, you get 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and 1 3/4. Okay. Oh, good, Tangi. I'm glad that you like the idea with the glitter. I need some glitter. I miss glitter, you guys. That would be a fun thing to do with that hexagon, right? Now on this side, you're going to score in 1 3/4 inches on each side. Make sure you do it from each side though, because we're going to end up with a small little rectangle in the middle. These 3 panels are going to be rectangular. If you want them all to be square, then you can trim this, but you might have to decide which side you're going to trim from the most, or you're going to have to trim a little off each edge. But yeah, 5 1/4 would trim off 1/4 of an inch. Okay, you could trim off 1/8 of an inch from one side and 1/8 of an inch from the other side. But to challenge you mathematically, again, let's just do it the way I said. Score at 1 3/4, turn it around, and score at 1 3/4. So that's why you really only have to remember that measurement if you flip your paper. Now we're going to do some cutting, and you can cut if you're smart. I forgot to do this, but you can cut while it's still sitting in the trimmer. So you could line it back up again at that 1 3/4 inch mark, and you could take your cutting blade and you could cut like this, lift it up, start it again at the next score line and cut so that you have your straight cuts going through there. Or you can take a nice sharp scissors, I'll just use this one here, and you can cut. If you have even a slight waver, it's going to be okay. So if your hands aren't super steady, the basket will still turn out. I just told you what we're making. Okay, fold, fold, fold. I haven't done this project for a while. It's a super, super simple basket. And we cut it that way because this way we're not covering up any of these flowers. Okay, all the flowers will still stay exposed. We're going to bring these two corners, these outside corners, together to meet. And if you want to, you can put a little adhesive on the one with the daisy right there and connect it. Okay, and then you can take and staple. So we're going to go ahead and staple, and we're going to staple it from this direction. Okay, so I'm going to go, I know that the smooth side is going to be on the inside, but that's kind of what we want. Or you could take and even flap this up, which is what I did on my first one, staple here, and then take some tear and tape and stick it down so that you don't see any staple on the inside. But I'm going to show you what it would look like if you stapled on the inside. Okay, then you can take this piece here and you're going to flatten it. So you're going to flatten it so that it doesn't have, okay, staple straight. Next, or you want to have probably look the same. So I've grabbed these two, and you'll just put a dimensional on the back side, and that will go right over that staple and cover it up. And now it looks like your daisy design is flowing throughout the basket. We'll do the same thing to this side. These tabs come out, this one goes in. Put a little adhesive on the back side of that corner just to hold it. Bring those two corners up here to meet together at the top. You can either, again, staple and then adhere, or you can trust yourself to staple straight. Let's see if we got straighter. No, we're still a little crooked. It's all good. Okay, then take and flatten using your block or using a pliers, but flatten it out so you don't have those little bumps there. Grab a dimensional, stick it on the back side, peel it off. Okay, now we have the handle to add. So the handle is this piece, and you'll want to put some tear and tape adhesive or glue, but tear and tape will be less messy. Just a little tiny bit of it right here. And, oops, wrong way. Right here. Use your bone folder to burnish it, maybe make sure that it's, pressed in there really well. Then you could take your snips or take your pick tool, get under there, peel off the backing, peel off the backing. Okay, and then you can line up this little section with the top part of that flap in there. So you'll just line that up there, or you could tuck it in if you want to. But if you line it up, then you don't have to worry about any bulk in there. Do the same thing to the other side, line it up. And then you add some shreddies, and you add some chocolates. You add whatever you want in your little Easter basket. So there we go. You're getting buffering? I'm not seeing buffering here. Try going out and coming back in, Rosie. I'm not seeing that here on my end. Hopefully the rest of you aren't either. Oh no, I see someone else that says that I'm freezing. That's so weird because I don't see any warnings on my end. Usually I see a warning. Okay, good. A lot of you are commenting. It's a cute little basket. I'm going to set that aside. Last project, and I don't know where to put this because the desk is getting messy. The last project involves some beautiful, beautiful paper. So I'm going to pull in a set of papers, and we're going to open up, because I forgot to pull that out too. We're going to open up a pack of basic black cardstock. So let's just get that going. Basic black. That's going to really make the screen change. My darker colors tend to scream. Okay, so you could either do two, I'll hold them up this way, two for your background with this, or you can take and you can do two of these. Oh, we can hold that down there. Two of these for your background. Okay, this paper is the Everyday You and Me paper pack. Love it. It's on, is it on the? No, this paper isn't leaving, right? I think it's the memories, the Scrapbook Memories kit that's leaving. But this paper, let's take a peek, shall we? Let's just take a little field trip for a second over to, oops, hang on. Oh my goodness, my buttons aren't working, you guys. There we go. Over to the website. Let's put in everyday, little education, okay? Everyday, and we'll do a search for it. We'll scroll. Okay, Everyday You and Me Scrapbooking Workshop is last chance. That means once it sells out, it sells out. The Everyday Happiness Designer paper is staying. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And so is the Everyday Happiness Designer paper and sticker sheet, which is how I bought mine. Okay, let's go back to the desktop. My buttons. That is so weird, you guys. We're having quirks. All right, so this paper, you can find it. Moving out of there. Okay, so you get a couple sheets of everything, right? So, in fact, I think this pack is different. I think you actually get 4 sheets of 3 different designs instead of 2 sheets of 6 different designs. Okay? And they are double-sided. So, your choice. I'm going to show you what my thought process was on this. Hang on. Got to get my paper. So, if you use this as your background, and then you cover up portions with your black cardstock, your paper is pretty much sitting as is, right? You could turn it this way. You could get that kind of a look if you have a strip of this going across the top in basic black. If you do the basic black as the base, you could take and cut this any way that you want to for your section, right? You could cut, so I'll show you what I did. Obviously, I cut the paper, the designer paper. So I'm going to bring that over. And we're skipping kind of far ahead here, but this is what I decided to go with. I decided to go with cutting my designer paper and keeping my basic black base. So this is my base cardstock. I added a piece that was 4 5/8. 4 5/8 here and a 1/2 of an inch here. Where did I cut it from on this paper? I cut my 1/2 inch up here. Then I cut another 1/2 inch for my opposite page because I did a 2-page layout. Then I took and cut this section. I cut it from here. Okay, so I believe it was this next section down. I cut from here. So I had an inch off the top. Then I cut this section to be here. And then I took this section and put it on the opposite page. So I actually ended up having a good amount of designer paper left at the bottom. So a 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 5 3/8, 4 5/8. Slow down, Rachel. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Then I did another 4 5/8, another 4 5/8, and then I had a little strip left over. Okay, so that's where I laid them, here and here, and I did that on the opposite page. Then that left me with the perfect size black layer, which is actually the base of the page. It is gorgeous. Trish just said she got her paper the other day, and she says it's absolutely gorgeous. It's fantastic paper. Love the colors. The blue is from the card bases in the kit. So if we come back to the kit and we weed through here, you can see that we have, oh, you know what? I put them over here. I put all their pieces over here. So hang on, let me grab them. The blue is from the card base, and all I did was cut off a little section so that I had a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I cut through the middle after I cut in this direction to get the strip off. Okay, that's how I got my layers. And I did that to 2 card bases because you're going to see the opposite page is laid out the same way. So that's how I got that. Here was the extra strip that I told you about that you get after you trim up your 1 sheet of paper. And then I tested this one. This is the one that I tested on to see if I could get these little hexagons to stamp. So one of your stamps that comes in your kit has the little beehive honeycombs on it, right? And I stamped onto some scrap paper first to lighten my crushed curry ink. So I will demonstrate that. We're going to take and stamp this side. Crushed curry ink. Ink it up. So beginning stampers, this is how you get 2 colors from 1 ink pad. It's so awesome. You stamp, oops, I'm going to use my Pierce mat. Just to get a nice firm surface. Here it is. Okay, so let's put this under here. In fact, it's messy. Let's flip it over. Okay, ink it up. This is the first color that you'll get. It's nice and bright. You can see already what it looks like. This is the second color that you get. This is the third color that you'd get. You can keep on going and you get lighter and lighter shades by not re-inking your stamp. So I did that for all my honeycombs. I took and stamped off, and then I stamped onto my paper, and I built it up. So I made like this little beehive at the bottom. When the pages are next to each other side by side, you're going to see it looks like these honeycombs are kind of right next to each other. One little tip I have, and I didn't do it with my kit, but you could, is to cut off a single hexagon on either that corner or that corner, because then you can fill in. So if you want to, you can trim there right with your scissors. I'm literally talking about cutting the stamp. You cut right there, and then you have an extra little honeycomb that you can take and fill in spaces for if you're going to build a huge honeycomb, okay? There are so many. I agree. Okay, so there is the look that I got with the lighter color. And that's how I built that up down here. And again, there's an extra page that's going to butt up right against here. And so it's going to look like a bunch of honeycomb, hexagon, beehivey stuff here. To accentuate the area, I put these little guys on here because remember, they're from the kit, obviously, and they coordinate with the same sizes. So I took and sponged on the back side with adhesive, the glue, and then I stuck it down to kind of fill in and make that honeycomb look like it's fuller. Okay, how did I do these pieces? Well, let's close this up for a minute. Here is my envelope. Here is my trimmer. Okay, for this one, it's a little narrower. So what I did is I cut 1/4 inch off of each side with my dark blade. Ouch, I know that hurts to see all of that pretty design cut. But it narrowed this out and made these look like not an envelope anymore. Then I opened this up and I said, oh my gosh, there's pretty flowers down there. So I took and fussy cut around them and then cut straight across at the score line to get that look. That's how these little flowers got put into this area. In fact, I might pop those up with dimensionals to make them sit higher with a shadow under them. But that is that look. On the other page, I have this piece going the opposite direction, and so I just trimmed. I just trimmed straight there. I cut off all of that pretty daisy petal stuff on the opposite page. Okay, so that's how that envelope came together. This envelope is just stuck on like that. That's all I did for that one. You could cut from corner to corner and do like a diagonal if you wanted to have kind of a straight line in there, or you could trim if you wanted to, but I felt like it kind of depleted some of the space on there that I wanted. So, and it made too much black edging. Another thing is by having the whole envelope put on, you have a hidden pocket. If you want to, you could put some treasures in there. Something, I don't know, maybe ticket stubs or whatever. Something could be put in here. And then when you adhere this, you can just put adhesive here and here so that you can still get your hand underneath there and put something into that pocket. My bee is getting covered up. So for that, I'm going to take another bee and I'm going to add a dimensional, little tiny mini one, right here onto the behind. The behind. That's spelled B-E-E-H-I-N-D. It does keep going, I know. All right, and then we just lay that over the top and we get that 3D look without the bee interfering with the photo that you're gonna slip under there, because there's no adhesive and you can still have that nice line of white. Then another thing, and you could just leave that guy as is. You wouldn't have to put another layer on top, but I thought it needed another bee. So then you could take another bee and stick that one up there, or maybe here. I don't know, somewhere in there. But let's fill in some of these flowers. So for these flowers, I'm going to go ahead and layer these up. They do match up, believe it or not. So we just have to find how they do that. Here we go, like this. No? Yeah, like, I don't know, something like that. So I'm going to lay that one on there like that. Got to get my dimensionals again. They keep disappearing on me. So that goes here. Why can't I figure this one out? Oh yeah, it does go like that. It's slightly larger, so you're going to see kind of a little outline design. It's slightly larger. This one, same thing. We're using up the edges, you guys. We have just a few left here. We're using the edges up. Oh, you know what? We're going to have to be careful on this one, because this one, where I would put the dimensional, is really close to the edge of the photo. So I want to be super careful to get that dimensional far enough away so I can still slip my photo under there. So again, line it back up. And then this guy can go, I don't know, wherever in the middle. Because it looks right now like it's been cut off and we don't want that look. So we're going to stick another flower over the top of all this, right in that spot. And now we don't need to raise that up on dimensionals because we have our shadow formed by these layers. Huh. I designed this and then I forgot about how I designed it. Okay. These guys, you could do the same thing if you wanted to. You can add an extra little layer of flowers over here. I thought it got to be a little too much though. So another thought is you could take and just trim off the end flowers and maybe have them go on like this. And you could even have like one in the middle popped up if you just wanted a little bit extra over there to make it not look so envelope edgy, right? And then again, I would come in with the glue and I would attach these into spots to just give a little bit of a shine into certain areas. So I just kind of do that here and there throughout the page, down here too. Again, the extra B, it's going to go somewhere. I don't know where. Let's grab the coordinating page and take a peek at that one because that one's done. Well, done enough. Okay, so here is the coordinating page, and let me zoom out even more so you can see all the mess on my desk. And we'll spread these out next to each other. Everything's in the way. We have to zoom out even more. Ta-da! Here's the mess. Okay, So here's the 2-page spread. And you can kind of see what this is going to look like when I finish it up after the video. But what did I do on this page? Let's zoom in and take a peek. So I obviously added the photo mats. These are just to represent where your photos would go and what sizes they would be. 4x4, 4x4, and then down here you can place 3x4 sizes kind of diagonally out against each other like that. I did end up just doing, I guess, one flower in the middle here, so maybe that's what I'll do on the other one. And then I've got my extra bee popped up. So the page is pretty much done. The only other thought that I had was to take and add sentiments from my stamps. And here's the sheet. So you can take and stamp these guys, happy birthday, and maybe your special day, happy birthday, or even sweetest birthday, your special day, sweetest birthday. And you can have a title over this one, and then on the opposite page have a title over the other one. Or that could be your journaling space. Not sure what I'm going to end up with yet. It's going to be a surprise. So you'll have to come back and visit. That's it as far as the ideas go. I want to show you how you can get to, let's see here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Where did it go? I'm looking at my computer, you guys. Hang on. Okay, there we go. We're going back to the online store. Ah! It did it again. I am not having luck with my buttons. There. Okay, we're back in the online store. And if you're searching for Daisy Daydream, you can either put in one of those words like Daydream, or you can go to the section of the online store where you should be able to find these. And to tell you the truth, I don't know where that is right now because we've been changing things around. But use the search bar. So here's the Daisy Daydream refill kit. Again, you don't see the stamps, you don't see the ink in there, but the pieces are available. You must have a Paper Pumpkin subscription in order to buy it though. So you have to activate a subscription. If you already have one and it's canceled, you have to put in an active status in order to buy things that are related to Paper Pumpkin. Another thing that is related to Paper Pumpkin are dies. If you are a crafter that loves to die cut, then I would suggest getting coordinating dies. Spring. These dies, where are they? Spring, spring, spring. Oh, I'm going to make you guys dizzy. Okay, we're going to go back up to the top. And we're going to put in the whole title. Spring is in the air. Oh, is it sold out, you guys? I wonder if it's sold out. That's crazy. The dies that coordinate with the kit. Well, then I'm glad I didn't use them in the project. You can't get them. Okay, well, there you go. Oh, and my button again isn't working. That is so weird. Okay, hang on. Let's see if we can get it. Oh my goodness sakes, you guys. My picture-in-picture button isn't working, so I have to like turn it all the way off and turn it back on again. Okay, what else do I want to tell you about? If you notice, there were last chance products listed in the online store. This is a time of year where we change a lot of things over. So we have current catalogs that are going to be null and void. Doesn't mean that all the products in there are going to be null and void, but we're getting a new annual catalog on May 6th. And so when things move over into the last chance, that means it could be sold out in hours. It could be sold out within months. So just know that you have not a guaranteed time to get in on last chance products. You'll want to shop the online store and go to the last chance products section. That's under specials, last chance. Okay, there's categories at the top. Just go to specials and then choose last chance. If you're interested in starting a Paper Pumpkin subscription, I do have a link in my video description. If you have a demonstrator, reach out to them and ask them for their personalized links so that you can start your subscription with them. And if you are a demonstrator, you just sign up, okay? It's going to read you as a demonstrator. You're going to get your own credit for your subscription. What other news do I want to tell you about? Well, subscribe because it's fun. Oh, and you only have until the 10th of each month to subscribe. So if you haven't started your subscription yet for April, you have today and tomorrow to activate your subscription or claim it but you don't have to claim it if it's already active, okay? If it's inactive and it wasn't working when you were on paperpumpkin.com, then you want to claim it so you can work with it, okay? What else am I missing, you guys? I'm trying to think. Oh, I wanted to say something about the colors too with discontinued products. So we have colors that are going to be leaving soon. But again, last chance is different than how it's worked out in the past. So if something's on last chance, like let's just say, I don't know, Moody Mauve, okay? Let's say that color is on last chance, which it is, and the ink pad sells out, but the cardstock's there for months to go. That's totally fine, right? So you can continue to use and purchase products that are available if they haven't completely sold out, right? So, well, I guess I'm speaking to demonstrators right now. Anyways, just know that they won't disappear completely until they sell out. Okay? I'm looking at paper. Oh, we have prizes. Trisha, oh my gosh, it's 12:01. We have prizes. I have names of 2 winners because we had plenty of comments from last week's video where we get to draw 2 winners. So yay, thank you for commenting on the after live. Let's see if I can make my screen work. Nope. We have to go out, come back in. Okay, winners from last week. The live winners got a set of envelopes and a set of the Brush Brass Butterflies accents. And so the Afterlive winners get the same thing. Those Afterlive winners are Judy Sharp, 2164. And let me put my email address. That's so weird. It's not working, you guys. All my buttons aren't working. I have to click everything like twice. I wonder if it's a glitch that's happening just with my computer or if it's with all of them, like all the people using Switcher Studio today. But there's my email address, rachel@stampyourartout.com. If you have my old email address, that still works. But Judy Sharp, congratulations to you. We also had a second winner on the Afterlive comments, and that was Judy Frank, 2551. So reach out to me to claim your prize. The prize for this week, let's see if I can do that. Okay, good. We were able to do that. The prize for this week is a set of random designer papers that have retired, papers that are no longer around, but they are 6x6 sizes, and we're going to do a set of 48 sheets, random sheets, just different designs to the 2 winners. And I believe that Trisha already called out the winners. There they are. I found them. Yay! Congratulations to Terry Bate and Paula Addison. Congratulations to you two. And I can't get rid of my other thing underneath, so hopefully you can read the screen. So there we go. That is the end of today's live. I'm glad that you all joined me. Thank you all so much. And appreciate you being in on the casualness of this all. I really hope that I got through all of the announcements that I needed to give you. Can't think of anything else, and I don't see any reminders coming up in the comments, so I think we're good to go. Next time I go live might be Wednesday of next week. Again, it's been busier than I anticipated the last few weeks, and so I may or may not go live this Friday. I do have it tentatively scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m., but we just have a backload of stuff to get done, this Rachel person here. Thank you everybody so much for joining me. And now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.